G'day. Your good mate, the Hipster Rooster here, narrating yet again for your listening pleasure. Today we find our hero, the Hipster Snek, once more a year later, lounging in the lap of luxury after winning the lottery. Yes, our hero has scored big time and didn't even need to sell out to RaidCon's Shadowscaped VPN again. Let's tune in now to see him relaxing in paradise, alongside some lovely maidens.
Another new PC upgrade, Snek? Or dinner? Or dare I say, me?
Life's hard when you're living the nightmare.
Oh my gosh, an esoteric niche comedy anime reference? So dreamy.
Will you wake up, Snek?
Yeah, nah, my mistake. Snek is not in fact rich enough to suddenly be attractive. He's just a schlubby nerd, now caught amidst the tempestuous divide between the Council of Cool's two warring factions. You know how easy it is to get those two things confused.
Thank you for that, Rooster. I appreciate your continued support. Okay, I'm awake again. Wait, what are we fighting over today?
You and your bad taste, Snek.
This again? We did this bit back in Shadow the Hedgehog. It was the second sketch comedy review, remember?
No, Snek. I mean your literal sense of taste.
I'm sorry, come again?
This war has come to fruition because you put that horrendous yellow fruit on an otherwise excellent food. Pineapple on pizza, indeed.
Wait, are we really doing this? I thought we were just memeing.
No, I'm kind of with Hare on this one. So is Dragon.
Traitor.
You tried to get me to date Rooster, and I'm not going to.
Not going to yet, you mean?
And Dog.
But I thought dogs could eat pineapple no problem.
Can does not mean want to, Snek.
Yes. And our team also consists of Sheep and Monkey, who may or may not be off screen. We can't really tell. Also, your team consists of you, Rat, Horse, Pig, Rooster, and Cow. So I mean, your team is objectively the worst. You have Rat and that guy who stole Christmas. Also Horse, who I hate for reasons entirely unrelated to anything she's done to me. Or last weekend, where she didn't show up to our trading card game. Hurt my feelings.
Wait, I thought you and Horse were bosom buddies. If she had a voice actress at this point, she'd probably be very hurt, Tiger.
She knows what she did.
In all likelihood. She probably doesn't.
Hey, I don't even really like pineapple on pizza. Just you would get so mad when I brought it up. I couldn't help but join in.
I notice you didn't really argue Tiger's point. You more just agreed but clarified.
I mean, he's got a point. I am kind of awful. Comes with the whole rodent thing.
To say nothing of the fact that your team has the guy who almost dropped the moon on the planet, it's not like the team anti-pineapple over there is without blame.
Really going to war over a pizza topping then, huh? This storyline's bad and contrives not to be a new Marvel plotline.
In a way, it sorta is. It's like the Civil War arc.
Do you mean the first one? The fourth sequel? Or the movie?
Or the game.
Wait, the game?
Well, since you asked...
Oh, will somebody shut that Snek up?
Here we go. You got him started now. Put a quarter in the jukebox, now the song's gotta play. Kids even know what jukeboxes are anymore?
To fully understand this properly, you gotta know the context for just how bad the original Civil War arc was. It was a 2006 to 2007 Marvel Comics crossover event where the left hand wasn't on speaking terms with the right. Everyone therein was acting out a character or acting on contradictory information. The story was internally extremely inconsistent, and it didn't make sense in context. This culminates in the canon objectivist, Iron Man, siding with massive overstep of federal power with the Superhuman Registration Act. The idea was it was supposed to be an allegory for freedom versus security, but the death knell of the story was that nobody knew what this bill stated or meant, except for a few highlighted key points. It was an absolute exercise in frustration. Also, Cap was right.
Well, of course you would side with the Big Blue Boy Scout, Snek.
That's a nickname for Superman, you secondary.
Shut up!
So, Marvel realized pretty quickly that if they were going to ever so much as mention this garbage storyline again, they'd better do it right this time. So in 2009, Activision set to work making the sequel to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, by appending a 2 to the title. And then they put it on, everything. Just like everything. The Nintendo DS, the PSP, the PS2, 3, and 4, the Wii, the Xbox 360 and One, and Steam. Weirdly enough, most of those were launched in 2009, but then the PS4, Xbone, and PC ports were in 2016. Random, but true.
Oh, perfect. It's on Steam. Then I can just get it right now. Where is it?
Oh yeah, about that. The usual copyright screwery that shouldn't ever happen to games happened to this game. You can't get it anymore due to completely idiotic licensing issues, so the perfectly good game is basically in perma-limbo. This is what happens when 6 evil megacorps own everything and are run by neophobic octogenarians who don't understand that everything post-Howdy Doody time isn't just a lunchbox that they're selling to literal toddlers. I really, really hate Disney is the TLDR here. So, we have to resort to our good old-fashioned E-word to circumvent this nonsense that is international copyright law.
Evisceration? I'd like to do that to you.
And dealing with you is another E-word, Hare. Exhausting.
And the Lord Silver Surfer said, "Now I am very French." And he had an excellent bande dessinée with art by Mobius, written by Stan Lee. Look it up. It's Silver Surfer Parable.
I'm sorry. What?
I thought he meant evangelize.
I'm going to do everyone in this room a favor and ignore that as hard as I can. The footage you'll be seeing for the sake of this review is actually going to come from the PS2 version. I know it's the dumbed-down version, but despite coming out 20 years ago, let's just say emulation of the 360 and PS3 leave much to be desired. I'm surprised I was able to get footage from Viva Pinata even to the point where the game softlocks my progress.
My old lady hips. Why do you say things that physically age me, Snek?
I can of course lend you a hand for your hips anytime you require them.
Don't touch me.
And ignoring that as well, let's start with the plot synopsis. So anyway, the story kicks off with Nick Fury leading an unsanctioned attack on Latveria in the home of Doctor Doom.
Wait, isn't he from Secret Wars? That's a completely different storyline. Ugh. I was promised war criminals punching orphans. Is that so much to ask?
After that prologue mission/tutorial, we jump to a short time later where something really dumb happens. There's a superhero reality TV show. No, seriously, this is straight from the comics. And some B-listers get supervillain Nitro to explode a whole bunch of people, including some kids. And since the federal government can't not stand on the corpses of victims in order to seize more power, the Superhuman Registration Act, SRA, is pushed through with Iron Man being its biggest simp. The storyline then divides into 2 routes. The objectively correct choice of Captain America and Luke Cage, or siding with Satan himself, and Iron Man for some reason is hanging out there too.
Snek, that's Reed Richards.
You might understand how I might have confused the two. You gotta understand, Richards is one of Marvel's greatest villains in its entire metaverse, and I don't mean that I'm some Dr. Doom stan. I'm really not. Doom is overrated small time and a meme at best. But Richards? He makes mind-controlling nanorobots to reprogram villains to be agents under the SRA and forms the Thunderbolts. He uses the Negative Zone as a super prison for people who resist pro-reg forces. Not to mention the litany of other things he did outside of the Civil War arc. And he's heralded as a hero? How sick is that? I mean, Bill of Rights. More like Bill of Helpful Suggestions and Guidelines, am I right? Who even needs habeas corpus anyway? That was overrated from the start.
I get the sense you might be trying to drive at a point there, Snek.
Who, me? No, never.
Okay, we get it. You have opinions. Look, if we keep on with the story, it's going to be 10 hours long, and you're just going to be in the corner frothing at the mouth.
Oh, that is rich coming from you.
Yeah, okay, you got me. But let's move on.
So, there's no true version of the game. Back in the day, Cog and I played through the PS3 version, but honestly, in my repeated experiments to find a copy I can play and record for the sake of this episode, I find one universal truth about these ports. If you already like beat-em-ups with some mild RPG elements peppered in, you will almost certainly enjoy this game no matter what version you play. And if you don't, this isn't the one that's going to make you suddenly have an epiphany about the genre. And they have a pretty sizable cross-section of available characters, too. We also get to dip our toes into that same problem we encountered while doing the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee trilogy, where some versions sport certain characters and other ones don't. Did you know the Nintendo DS version is missing 10 characters, but paradoxically is the only one to include Sentry and She-Hulk? I didn't either until I checked the Wikipedia page. but here we are.
I feel we could stand to shed a few useless characters around here too, especially you.
A quarter of us don't have voice actors chosen yet. Your bias is kinda showing.
Yeah? Well, your face is showing.
The core gameplay features a squad of 4 characters. During the tutorial, you're initially given Captain America, Iron Man, Wolverine, and Spider-Man for maximum marketability. About a quarter into the first mission, you're then given the Bravo team, which you can customize from a roster of starting heroes, which grows as you progress the game. When the key moment splits you down the 2 story branches, some will be locked out and some will be available regardless of which side you play. By and large, this will still give you a lot of great choices, even if you side with the Luciferian forces of big government.
I just want all the trophies, Snek. I'm not actually in favour of the SRA.
I'll allow it. Anyway, each character will bring something distinct to your party, both in terms of flavor and their abilities. Seen here in my tutorial mission, we're told to topple this Doom statue, which I initially attempt to do with Captain America. However, he's not strong enough to do so, being merely Olympian and amazingly badass pedonculous.
Pedonculous?
So I swap over to Spider-Man, whose cannon lifting power is a titanic 10 tons, and he's able to deal with this mini-event instead. Likewise, some characters can fly to avoid floor traps. When I carelessly blundered Miss Marvel into the spike pit and lost her, I was able to go over it via webhead slinging.
Snek, Miss Marvel can fly.
I know. I'm just dumb.
Well, it's about time you admit that.
Silence, Logomorph. The channel mascot is speaking.
I hate you so much.
Characters all have up to 4 powers equipped at a time. And if you choose manual upgrading and progression, you can pick which ones those are as you go. I'm genuinely shocked at how creative several of these can be. Characters have active attacks, like Cap hurling his shield for example, which will ricochet around and hit enemies repeatedly like a pinball, or they can have passive buffs, like Spider-Man extending his spider sense to the party to give them a brief window of having an inherent dodge chance. Heroes are limited by their power meter, the blue bar beneath their portraits, and small cooldowns on each.
Non-powered combat is fluid too. All normal attack chains are made up of individual inputs of quick and heavy attacks and can be strung together into combos that have different effects. For instance, Quick Heavy results in an uppercut that can hurl lightweight enemies skyward, putting them into a vulnerable state, or alternating Quick to Heavy and back again is a sweep that can stun enemies by tripping them. Some enemies will have modifiers like weak to tripping or health regeneration in order to make even ordinary encounters a bit more interesting. These combo chains will be your bread and butter as the combat gives extraordinary incentive to use them. Defeating enemies quickly and efficiently resulting in you eating less damage and usually getting more rewards, which include health and power refills and shield coins, which can be exchanged to purchase more unlockable features in the game, including additional playable characters, both heroes and some villains too.
The cast is one of the game's strongest points. Because of it residing early on enough before the MCU became the only thing the games were allowed to use, it actually has a great roster of A and B list heroes. Psylocke is included in the game, for example. Gambit, Blade, even Iron Fist in later releases. Heck, Miss Marvel's permitted to have a discernible personality, and even her old Warbird costume. Pretty sure if you try that these days you get shipped off to some Mickey Mouse-themed prison island. The game also sports somewhat dynamic dialogue in these intermission segments, where you can save your game or shuffle your party members between the levels, where certain characters really get to show their personalities. Cap's dialogue is firm and serious, showing his devotion to his cause. Spider-Man and Deadpool are cutting and sarcastic and will taunt their enemies. Even while in the levels themselves, the characters get to show their stuff with unique dialogue lines for defeating enemies or achieving objectives.
Okay. And how does any of this relate to our discussion about pineapple on...
The levels themselves are pretty big too. The tutorial missions take about 45 to 60 minutes. The game also sports a huge number of side missions, events, and minigame moments that break up this normal beat-em-up set piece. Like this bit where you get to hijack a laser turret and go to town on nearby guns and enemies as they move in. This keeps things feeling so fresh as you progress forward, and even clever inclusions like motion control gimmicks found in the Wii version are weirdly engaging.
Regardless of the version you play, the graphics are really good. Somehow the cutscene movies that play for major story events even look great on older hardware. Some fall by the wayside a bit, chiefly the DS port, but that's to be expected. The portable N64 can't be reasonably compared to later hardware. So, for what it is, it's still impressive in its own way. The music is excellent, and the voice cast is really giving it their all. I think they might have had a little trouble with the voice direction at times, as some lines do come off as a little odd at times, but it's not distracting enough to detract from the overall experience.
Where is any of this going?
Aliens.
What?
Yeah, they had to unscrew the writing that the source material gave them to work with. In the last leg of things, it turns out that Gum Gum Fruit Beelzebub had his nanobots hijacked by aliens. It was aliens the whole time. Which is not only way more Silver Age in scope, but honestly fixes a lot of issues found in the original comic arc too. In the final stretch, both sides reunite, and you're free to finish the story out with anyone you've unlocked up to that point. If you sided on the pro-registration side, the story concludes with amendments being passed to make the SRA less draconian and to limit how much it impacted secret identities and retirees. In the objectively correct side, the entire SRA is repealed, which would happen anyway as it's unconstitutional AF. As it turns out, you actually shouldn't use arbitrary criterion to forcefully subjugate your populace into a slave caste. What are the odds?
It was the Tinkerer.
Yes, but being reductive is funnier.
So's being a contrarian.
Oh, touche.
No, no, no. We are entirely missing the point here. You are the point, Snek. You.
That's what she said. And she is me. I said that.
You really must have bad taste if you put pineapple on pizza.
Okay, I'll quit deliberately dancing around where you're trying to head with this nonsense, and I'll ask the real question then. What do you put on your pizzas, Hare?
What? Me? Certainly not pineapple, that's for sure. I am an absolute patrician in terms of taste. I top my pizza only with the finest kiwi fruit, anchovies, corn, caviar, mayonnaise, and mustard and Tabasco sauce.
Ah, so a man of taste then.
Oh, Lord. I am so glad I never accepted the 37 times you asked me out. I am so checked out.
Wait, is that why?
Wait, 37 times? Rooster, that's harassment.
That's called persistence. There's a difference.
Yeah, turns out that argument doesn't work in the court of law. Been there, done that.
Dog, you said you wouldn't give her my new address if I helped you save Christmas.
True, but you made fun of Linux, so...
That wasn't even me, that was Tiger.
The die is cast, Snek. Fight, or you will not survive.
What, am I doing the Kamen Rider Dragonite game next year or something? What was your stupid plan anyway, Hare?
Oh, it was to split up the council in two, then stand back and use them to gang up on you and shame you until you fled the internet. I was not actually expecting it to be 6 versus 6 in the end.
Wow, and here I thought my plans never worked.
You know, Hare, minus you, most of us are actually friends.
I have friends. I'll show you. But not right this second. I'm gonna tell my mom on you.
So, we finishing this review or what?
Right, let's put a ribbon on this. So, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 is an excellent entry into the beat-em-up genre. It also rescued the Civil War arc from the gutter, actually making it a passable story. And it's the most fun when you can play it with friends.
Actually, it's the most fun when you can actually play the game, right?
Right. So there's rumors online that these games might get a new lease on life before all is said and done. There's talks that they're looking at relicensing and re-releasing it, but that remains to be seen for now. It did get a reboot/sequel, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, but as a console exclusive on Nintendo Switch. I haven't played it, so I can't pass comment on it, but I mean, it's new Marvel, I don't have high expectations. Maybe if I find it cheap on eBay, I might try it at some point. The broader point stands. When done right, these characters are great and beloved. It's no wonder they survived decades on end and blunder after blunder. People want, and to some degree, need heroes. Someone to look up to. Someone to aspire to be more like, one step at a time.
Like Captain America. He did drugs. Look at him now.
Tiger, no, bad. Don't make me get the spray bottle.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
You think he and Horse ever made up?
Give it like 15 minutes. Anyway, this has been the Hipster Snek, and if you enjoyed today's episode, please do that like, comment, subscribe thing that helps us out a great deal. You can also show some love to the voice talent by subscribing to Vintage 8, who is the voice of Hipster Rap.
If you like rodents, or just want to hang out, or really like nightmares from places that no longer exist, then subscribe to Vintage 8. Bring cheese.
Or to Bunnysaurus, the voice of the hipster dog.
Subscribe, Buddysaurus. I like Monster Hunter stories. Play Pokemon. People force me to play Pokemon. Yeah, that's about it.
All links in the description down below. And special thanks to everyone who helps with these episodes and for you erudite scholars who watched all the way to the end. And we will see you all next time.
Really now, Snek, leaving me for the post-credit scene again? This is the 3rd year running, and no, the phone call scene in KOTOR's review does not count.
Snekworth?
Snek. Usually it's Sneko who sneaks up on me in these scenes.
I think I meandered into the wrong scene somehow. Where are we, anyway?
The teaser for next year's April Fool's episode. I think I live here.
So what, we just chill here until Yes's roundabout cues and something just happens?
Pretty much, yes.
Oh my god, a dead body!
And there it is.
Wait, Snek. You are talking about games with villains and didn't even include me in the script? That's it. Truce off.